Uh, I think we are live. So, hello everyone. This is Satyajit Pattnaik, and welcome to my channel. Akshenndra, can you just confirm if my voice is audible?
Yes, I am audible. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible as well. So, hello everyone. This is Satyajit Pattnaik, and welcome back to my channel. And today I have with me Akshenndra. So, Akshenndra is an AI researcher and an entrepreneur based out in Finland, focused mainly on novel state of art models in deep learning and machine learning. He's also a part of our data science communities where he helps other fellow members and data science enthusiasts. And I met Akshendra through one of the data science communities called as Hack Weekly, which was created by Vetri, one of my LinkedIn friends. And in case you want to be a part of the Hack Weekly group, which is already full right now, but we have new communities growing up right now. So we will be giving you the link for that as well, so you can join the community. The link is not right now in the description, but I will add it immediately after the session is over. So, Vetri, high five. And let's get quickly started on this, guys. In case you have any questions in the middle of the session, you can just ping in the chat box, or you can reach out to me or Akshendra after the session. We already have given the links to both of our LinkedIn profiles in the description below. So let's get started. Akshendra, if you can introduce yourself to the crowd, then we can quickly start.
Okay. Thanks, Satyajit. Thanks for, first of all, thanks for having me on your channel. It's really a great honor to be here. And also special mention to Vetrival. He's like, as I say, the kid who brings all the kids of the neighborhood and tells them, okay, leave everything, play cricket, something like that. So he is always a really great guy, great encouraging someone and everybody. So thanks
Yeah.
to all you people, we are having this session and really great support from the community. um, Regarding me, okay, so currently, I won't say that I am this or I am that. I always say I am that I am. But I would say that I am currently doing like okay, I came to Finland as this topic was about, like, coming to Finland and India to Finland, how I transitioned. I came to Finland here about 4 years ago for my master's studies. And except my master's studies, I did everything else that is possible. I did everything else in life. And it sounds really and then I realized that, okay, 2021 is my last and final year in which I can graduate. So I left everything and then I started focusing again back on my master studies. Over the way, right now I'm doing my, as I said, I'm like completing with my master studies in machine learning and data mining at Auto University. Also, along with that, I am also having a small early age startup right now. It's based on developing video analytics solution for edtech industry that we
Yeah.
are we
Yes.
are focused on. Along with that, yeah, I do quite a lot of stuff, a lot into snowstorm running with weights. I'm trying to invent this new sport: free diving, kayaking,
Nice.
basketball, taekwondo, like you just name it. Probably have done it at some time.
Okay.
Yesterday I was out doing some fishing, real fishing, like the fish, catching the fish, not
Yeah.
that one. Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, and
Not PHIS.
no, 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 no. But
Yeah.
the FISH, the real
Okay.
fish. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so I have like, yeah, I have had great fortune of having had, like, travel across countries, Germany, India, Finland, and like, and also over some more countries in the Europe. And so I've been very fortunate to have done quite some things in a young life. And so yeah, it has been a great journey. So overall, this is who I am. Yeah.
Okay. So there are a lot of comments. So we'll read the comments later on. Almost all the comments are from Hack Weekly group itself. Okay. So we'll start with very fun activities. We'll just ask some normal questions like how did you end it up and all these things. And obviously we'll go to the technical part like tips giving and resume preparation. In case anybody has any questions around that, we'll talk about that later on. Now, my first question to you, that this is a very personal question I wanted to ask you in the group, but I never asked so far. So, of all the places in the world you have visited so far, how did you land up in Finland? Because,
I have been asking myself this same question for the last 3 or 4 years. How did I end up in Finland? And believe me, my friend, when it's minus 20 and it's you have not seen the sun for like the last 3 or 4 months, or you've seen the sun for the like faint sunlight, you really kick yourself in the nuts and you ask yourself, why of all the places did I end up here? And I have been also been. Okay, the story goes something like this. So basically, before coming to Finland for my master's studies, I came to Germany. And how I ended up in Germany is really very interesting. So I am this nerdy guy in college, like the guy who sits probably like who has no social skills, who has zero social skills, whom like there is like no girl in the batch ever talks to him. Every girl never forget about it. They never even gave me their wrong numbers as well. They never even accepted me on Facebook as well. So I'm this super a social guy. I only have one good, very good friend. Hey Nitesh, if you are watching this, thank you, man. This wouldn't have been possible without of you. So I have only one good friend in life and in my college. And one day I just kind of met this professor. He was from Germany. He was a German professor as well. He was having his own startup, and he was visiting our college like in a conference. So I just bump into him and I start like discussing some technical problems. And I was this loser guy who had nothing more to lose. Like he had lost everything almost. Like he was this loser dude. And then suddenly I had nothing to lose, so I'm like going all out and I'm like arguing. And he's like, I was like, I'm right. No, you're wrong. I'm right. You are wrong. I am right. And I was like, and he was like, dude, who in the very hell are you? You are the first Indian who ever dared to argue in front of me. Most Indians are like, they're like, they just like agree with what I say. Who the hell are you? But young man, I liked your confidence. But you have to be careful. Either I will throw you out from that way. That way was the door of the either I will throw you out from this way. That was the window of the first floor office where he was sitting. He had a great sense of humor. We This banter still continues within us. And but young man, I liked your confidence. Then he told me those 6 words which changed my life forever. Go out and prove yourself. So the young man is still proving himself, and today he is like um, I shouldn't teach you anymore. Soon, either you will become my competition. So, Urtis, if you're here and listening, thank you so much. I probably would not have, if that conversation and after all the support, and he even paid the first, when I first went to Germany. So I didn't have the money to even afford the flight. He even paid it out of his own pocket. And so there were many like those angels I met on the guy on the way who guided me along this path, and those lucky breaks which the universe gave me. Because of that, I first landed in Germany, did a great internship there. I came back to India. I was a bit depressed because, in Germany, I'm building whole Python libraries on myself, and I'm traveling across Europe. And then suddenly you come back, and then you have a 9 to 5 comfortable job. Then you tend to get depressed, and you're like, oh, this is what I did my bachelor's for. I was really depressed. So I just wanted to get out of there. I was just like, I just want to get out, nothing else. So in life, so I applied for masters, no research, nothing. I just wanted to get out. It was just an escape hatch mostly. So applied and got into top universities in US, in Germany to Munich, University of Minnesota, Twin Cities, and Alto. All the logic in the world would probably suggest go to the US because you have a Indian community, an Indian network there. Every guy is a US, a great American dream. Or you go to Germany because there is no tuition fees, and that's the any sane people in his a right mind would have done that. But
Oh,
deep down from my heart, something told me, go to Finland. I don't know anyone
oh,
there. The
that's
climate would be really harsh, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna follow my heart, and that's how I landed by following my heart there.
good.
So
Good. Actually, it's a good story, and yeah, you can share some more experience later on in the
yeah,
last
sure,
part
sure.
of the video. For that, you can give some tips to the people out here who wants to go to
Yeah, yeah,
Finland.
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Who would love to go to Finland or
I do
other
have some
abroad?
tips as well how to land up a
Yeah,
job in Europe, but yeah, you can add on as well. Now
Yeah,
my next
definitely.
question will be, I do have like some 5 to 6 questions. So, and then we can take questions from audiences. There are a lot of people because while you were talking, I was completely laughing by going through the live chat. So uh, maybe you will, I cannot read it, but you can go through the live chat later on. So you have visited a lot of places in Europe and Finland, and obviously have visited India as well. Like I should like, assume that you must have visited the entire India probably. I'm not sure. But what are your favorite travel stories?
Travel stories. Okay. One of my favorite travel stories would be coming from last year. It also had some important life lessons, so that's why I would love to bring that up. So I kind of had lost my job in COVID, and I was actually really happy. Paradoxically, I was happy. I was like, yes, it's a newfound independence. I was actually gave I am fired party, celebrating failures we have been taught in Alto University, and I was like, I just took like an impromptu biking and sleeping under the sky trip. It was like just put the sleeping bag on some like near the sea and just sleep and bike. I don't know where I was going, but I just wanted to go. So I go to my one of my really close friends, Oni. Oni, if you're watching this, thank you so much for being such a great brother and for being one of the best friends I ever had. So I go to his place and we have a nice run. And Oni is basically he's preparing to be a priest. So in Finland, you do a master's in theology to become a priest. It's like a 5 years course, and so he's doing that. And so he's inside the room. He's praying. Comes out. He's like, Akshendra, what's your bank account number? I'm like this. Why did you ask? Oh, I just put 1,000 euros. Never paid back to me. I was like, what? Why? Ah, Jesus Christ told me in a revelation to pay you this money because you will need this on the trip. I was like, thank you, Jesus Christ. And so I took the trip, like it was a 7 days or a week trip, and I needed exactly 1,000 euros for the trip. So it is the biggest life lesson, and it was one of my favorite stories because it kind of tells you that when you follow your heart, when you follow your deepest belief. I think Satyajit might have gone offline, but I think he'll be back. So let's just complete this and let's hope he's back soon. So the moral of the story is this: when you want something from the deepest parts of your heart, the universe just conspires to get
Uh,
it for you.
Sorry guys, it's
You
a
look
very common problem. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Yeah. So it's like the story is like, you look to those, there is actually a phrase in the Bible which says that you look towards the hills and there your help will come. So remember, anyone who is watching this, follow what your heart says, and you will be provided what you want, what you need in order to achieve your goals.
Yeah, yeah, correctly said. Okay, moving on to guys. 61 watching, and I don't see any likes. Probably feel free to like. It's free of cost. Okay, moving on to the next topic. Uh, well, again, it's a personal question, so I'm sorry for this type of questions. This is the first
No worries.
fun type of webinar I'm having in this channel, probably after 1 year, so which is okay. People need change as well. So I see you playing a lot of sports and extracurricular activities. I mean, I assume because your WhatsApp picture is you are
Yeah.
giving some kick in taekwondo, right? You are kicking. So I mean, any reasons for that, or and what are your favorite ones? Like, which sport do you prefer?
Yes. So, thanks. That's like a question which is really close to my heart. Again, I would like to credit Nitesh, my one of my really close and best friends, who taught me the value, the importance of playing sports. There is a very conscious reason, and also I read a lot about Richard Branson. Richard Branson, if you read his book on "Screw It, Let's Do It," it says something about a lot of his experiences of how he did a lot of adventure sports, a lot of traveling in a balloon across Atlantic, and how these sports and extracurricular activities, how they made him the person that he is. the dynamic, the leadership quality. So, and also there was a very nice kind of assignment which I did. Peter Kelly,
Yeah.
if you're watching this, thanks so much for that. So it said something that watch a video and about one of the greatest, longest base jumps from the edge of space, and how will you use the principles from this, this whole team, how they gathered together and how they put this men on the edge of space who made a base jump, the longest ever. How would you use this in a startup? I was like, okay, after I did this a nice assignment, I was like, wow, this is something that now I need to do. So I went to one of my really good friends, Anthony, if you're watching this, thanks a lot. And he told me do something really hard. So I just kind of left all my studies. I kind of like, just took those pieces of paper and threw it out, all the degrees, all the transcripts, everything. And now I just focused on one thing, like snowstorm running with weights. So at the time, I didn't really have the money to afford a bus ticket to Alto, and I really did not have the any money to, like, it was like a very very tough time. And believe me, first time you're out of India, it's a foreign country, it's a very tough time. So I actually used to run to, in the middle of winter in -20 and in the cold, I used to run to the university. Now, this was the story. And then I also used to do a lot of free diving because I was very afraid of water. I was like hydrophobic. As soon as you put my water, I wanted to get over this fear. So I kind of took this, and every morning I would be running to the free diving. Winter morning, -20 snow. I would first run to the there, free diving pool. I would dive there, and one day I reached that 5 meter down pool, and that was one of the best experiences because there is no prize that I'm getting. I'm winning. I won over myself. That was a very
Nice.
internal victory, and I always had this goal in my mind that I would probably start my startup. Even think about it, the day when I run to the university, able to reach it, because that's what a startup is, my friend. I believe that every one of us is a startup, every one of us, because that's what a startup is. You run when nobody dares to run. You run against the snowstorms, and when the entire team, when it quits, you still run. You take their weights, the bags, heavy bags of responsibilities or the tires behind, and you take it and you still complete the run. You never give up. That's what the essence of startup is for me. And I believe that doing this sports and stuff, they help you develop the real life skills which you transfer learn to your main. So this is
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
main core reason. So yes, it's like transfer learning. And yeah, this is, I feel like I would strongly advise people, or like suggest to people who really are into a startup, or like or something like this kind of thing, to develop their self esteem by doing something very challenging for themselves. Yes.
Okay. Nice. No, I mean, yeah, sports and all these things are really required. I mean,
Mhm.
you cannot be, you just cannot go through books and study all the time. So that's rightly said. So, okay, people are asking. People are asking actually about you, like you have a startup and you are into AI research and all these things. So, would you like to talk more about your startup, probably, so that people
Okay,
know about more about it, because they're asking
sure.
what exactly are
Sure.
you doing in Finland? That's the main question I'm seeing in the live chat right now.
What am I doing in Finland?
Yeah.
I have been asking myself the same question. Okay, cool. Actually, right now, we are basically building video analytics platform. So the first prototype that we are focused on building is something like a video summary app. Not app exactly. It's like more like an API which you can call independently from, irrespective of the platform that you're using, just using like a URL link where your video is hosted. Like it can be a YouTube link, for example. You put that as an input and say you give us a phrase. Like, for example, if it's a video on vector algebra, so you give the YouTube link, the source video link, and a phrase like vector multiplication. So what we would do is summarize the most important parts
Oh. Mhm.
comprising this vector multiplication, make a shorter video, and then give it to you. Something like that's just like the first MVP that
Got
we
it,
are
got it, got it.
currently
Nice,
building,
nice. Actually,
and then we would,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, actually, some days back I was reading about the same use case. One of my intern was also talking about these areas, like how about summarizing video. But anyways, good job. I hope you get the product ready.
Yeah.
Let me know
Thanks.
if you need any help in Hong Kong.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It will be great. And if any other people in the audience also they want to like later suggest or their expertise, and if they want to connect and
Yeah,
discuss
yeah,
over this, please be my guest. Mhm.
nice. Okay. Okay, before moving on to the next question, I have some questions on the chat box. People are asking. So,
Yep.
Piyush,
Sure.
Piyush is asking. I'm not sure if he's asking to you or me, but anyways, anybody can answer. So he's asking that I have been currently trying to
Mhm,
crack on-site jobs, but not
mhm.
been successful. Reviews mostly on technical front. Any advices for me?
Uh, okay. Thing is, reviews mostly on technical front. Does this maybe Satyajit might help me to understand it better? Is it like he's somewhere like he has to improve on some technical aspects?
Yeah,
And
probably he is asking to improve on the technical side. Yeah,
mm-hmm. Yes. So yes, of course. What I would this is something like a generic advice tailored to your question. I would say that what you should probably do is always like Steve Jobs in his very famous Stanford speech. He had said that always connect the dots backwards. So practically utilizing this really good advice would be study the job description very well, study the company very well. What exactly does it need? Try to talk to a person who is actually working in the company. For example, I'm giving a very nice example of Volt. So this is a company where I'm currently working like a bike delivery partner, and I want to also now join the data scientist group. So I wrote a cover letter and something like I wrote, hey, I have worked with state of the art deep learning architecture and models, and I can apply it here. My friend at Volt, he read it, he said, please remove this and write something about practical stuff, like say in software development, if you have used CI/CD pipelines, if you have used some something which is very very basic, because we are many times using base models. So something like, it might be that you are good technically, but you have to see what does your
they want.
company or your job description exactly wants, and
Yeah,
tailor
yeah.
your skill sets and your resume to meet that.
Yeah, yeah, nice point. Yeah, I mean, you always have to sell what the customer needs, right? So that's the main thing. You don't sell like if you are creating, if you're opening a restaurant, don't sell what you like. Sell what the customer likes, right? So
Yes,
general
it's
advice
actually
again. Yeah,
it's actually one sorry, I just remembered, like this, it's like the water. So I always repeat this a lot of times, but it is very very important life changing advice like given by Bruce Lee. So be like water. When in the glass, you become the glass. When you put yourself in the teapot, you become the teapot. Be formless, be shapeless. So that's the way to go, my friend.
okay. One more last question, and then we'll move on to the interview, like the normal procedure.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, Bruce Lee in quote incoming. Utkarsh is asking. People are saying that finally the quote I was waiting for.
Sorry?
Atif has mentioned that finally, finally the quote I was waiting for. Okay. Utkarsh is asking what's the okay. That's a very generic question. What's the right time to start preparing for? Okay, it is might be for you. You can answer that. What's the right time to start preparing and applying for masters? Is it third year, fourth year, or after 1 year of work experience?
Mhm. Okay, I think this is a very good question. Right time to start preparing for masters, in my opinion, is somewhere around third year. Okay, third year probably it should be spent on doing projects in the area of specialization which you want to go for your masters in. For example, I wanted to go towards machine learning, so
Yeah.
during third year I was doing all kind of projects, And also during the beginning of the interview, that was how I, because I had done the project end to end, and when I met the professor, I had the confidence that I can argue.
yeah,
So do, if you are any, and say your specialization is in some electronics or some like nanoelectronics, then do projects in nanoelectronics. So that should be your research projects. Maybe you can also get a research project at the time because you have a lot of free time. Then fourth year, somewhere at the, like, when your seventh semester is ending and when your eighth semester is about to start, that is the best time when you should prepare for your the exams GRE. The
yeah,
reason being that is because when you come to work, you lose your study habits, and it is very difficult to sit down in a place. For me now, it is very, very difficult. If you tell me sit down in a place and study for 2 hours, I'm like, I can't do it, because your mind gets restructured differently when you're working. And many of the people who are working would probably confirm this. Work life is very different from student life. Please
yeah,
give your GRE exams at the end of eighth semester. That is where you should prepare. But I think the mental preparation somewhere starts somewhere second or third year. You start at least preparing mentally yourselves that you're going to go it, because it's a very big, big life change.
yeah,
Okay, work experience wise, sometimes I think 1 or 2 years of work experience may be helpful
yeah,
if you want to later go on a job, like, after masters. Also, your masters is like a passport for immigration. Then probably a couple of years of work experience, because then it kind of teaches you some real life skills. It also, maybe if your academics are not very strong, you can, maybe do good in your work life, and get a good record letter of recommendation
yeah,
from your
yeah,
manager. But it is not compulsory. You can also directly apply after bachelor's, if your credentials are strong, and if you just want to continue your research work.
yeah,
And that, I would say, little advisable if you want to go towards PhD, because once you get into work life is very different from student life. Coming back to student life once again, that involves a lot of change and a lot of mindset change. So accordingly, according to your goals, again, as I said again, the, like, counting your dots backwards. If you're more into PhD, maybe going bachelor's, master's, PhD all at the same time, concurrently, may be better. But if you just want to do masters and settle in a different country, get a job abroad, then maybe 2 years work experience and then going for masters. I hope
yeah,
that
yeah,
answers. Yes.
yeah, that answers actually. Yes,
Yeah.
nice. Archon, from that, I will move on to the next question. But
Yeah.
again, one more question by Archon. He's asking, I have a confusion like when are we going, when we are going for data science role, why do we need to make end-to-end projects? Because I'm not going for machine learning. See, Arjun, if I answer your question perfectly, like what he's asking is, if you're going for DS roles, why do you need end-to-end projects? Because I'm not going for ML roles, right? See, data science, you have to understand each and everything. Data scientist is somebody who is involved from the business understanding phase till the deployment phase. So it's an end-to-end role. So end-to-end projects is very much required for you. Apart from that, pipeline building and all those things. However, we don't build pipelines, but we have a hold of it. We are the ones who prepare the architectures, what needs to be done, and all those things. This is how it happens. It is not like you are a data scientist, so I'm not concerned about the ML part. Right? It doesn't make any sense. Very related question I also have with
Yeah.
the master's part. So, how to apply for abroad masters? If somebody wants to go for a abroad masters, how do they apply? Because I haven't done that. I would love
Yes.
to know about it. Yeah,
Yes. Okay. How to? That is a small part. It's not that difficult. It's mostly about writing a stellar SOP, statement of purpose. It basically is like, I have done these kind of projects and this kind of laid this kind of foundation in my bachelor's life, and now I want to extend that for masters, and the purpose behind why I want to do masters, and something like that. So it's like a statement of purpose. Then you have your recommendation letters from your professors, some good grades, hopefully in in your bachelor's, and probably if you're from a good college, this increases your chances, but these are not mandatory. I know people from some unknown private colleges, 7 pointers in Stanford. Okay, so that's not limited. But Now, a big but, because this has been asked to me many, many times. There are people who come to me, they ask me how. The real question is not how. The real question is why.
Yeah,
Because believe me, what we show you on Facebook, what we show you on Instagram, those really cool photos with doing, in foreign locations with, with the Eiffel Tower in the background. Believe me, they are just that 1%, and the 99% is going through hell. In a foreign
yeah,
country, you go through hell. Okay, as I told you, I used to run to my university in -20 because I could not afford and it's like hell. Okay, so when you are doing that, then you're going through all the torture, all the pain. You
yeah,
ask yourself, why am I doing this? Like, this is crazy, this is insane. And when your why is as weak as, okay, I just wanted to earn more money, or gain some extra skill set which you could easily done it when you're in your home country or
yeah,
something like that, believe me, you would really curse yourself. So that is what I ask all of my juniors who come to me: get your why, get that very, very
yeah, yeah,
clearly. And that why also is written in SOP as well, but get it very clearly why you want to do masters. Is it because it's a passport for immigration to a different country? Is it for acquiring some skill set which is not possible while back home? Why are you doing? Please get this figured out, else it's going to be really tough. Life is going to be really tough.
yeah,
Yes, and when you figure out your why, and when your why, just a last point, when your why is really strong enough, believe me, the universe will conspire and show you the how. You will find your way.
nice. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, majorly, most it will be for immigration only. But anyways, what are uh, what are some of the greatest life lessons you have experienced after coming to Finland?
Okay, this is a really good question. The greatest life lesson probably would have been taught by sports. Okay, I'll just go through top three of them. The biggest life lesson, of course, was the snowstorm running. The day I was मेरी फटती थी बहुत फटती थी, हर जगह पे फटती थी. Those मतलब like my teachers used to call me, he's a tension face. His face is always full of tension. इतनी फटती थी कि in my maths exam of class 10, I probably had scored around 40 because of the, I don't know, board ka pressure. And I knew everything, but I just could not make calculations. I was so, exam fear used to grip me. One day,
Yeah,
I just decided to run out, take the risk, run towards a snowstorm. That probably would be the greatest life lesson. Always remember, life is full of snowstorms. Never, never, never run away. It's an
yeah,
opportunity, and run towards the snowstorm. Life lesson one. Life lesson two probably would have been taught by one of my greatest heroes. He is a taekwondo. He's an Olympian. He's an Olympian. Obviously, a black belt and a martial artist. I train under him and in his gym. So one day when I was here in Finland, when I first came here, I was full of anger, full of frustration about every bad thing that happened to me, and I was kicking that kicking pad with all the ferocity in the world. I was like so angry because once I was also the kicking pad, and maybe some of us have been at the
yeah,
receiving end. So I was kicking it, and this he comes in and he's like, "Thamba beta, thamba, thamba, stop, stop, stop. First the technique, first the technique, then the power. First you kick it very slowly. When you get your technique perfect, that's when you apply power, not before that. First the technique, then the power. I was like, great life lesson. So I in fact dedicate a large portion of my Mondays just to sit down, do nothing, slow things down, and just figure out, just see my life in slow motion from a distance, and see whether I am doing things the right way. First the technique, then the power, or whether the thing is worth doing or not. Third one was taught to me by Mr. David Lewis. Mr. David Lewis was he was head of the marketing division in our Alto University. He had 150 people working under him, but being so busy, he was a very, very kind person. And if you're watching this, Mr. David, thank you so much for the one of the greatest lessons you taught me. So I was like full of this angry young man, and when I was like having an identity crisis. I was really depressed in my first year, and he could see that, and he was trying to help me out. I was like, okay. I was also giving a reference to this movie Rocky 4. So in this movie, just giving a very small short story if nobody has watched it. So it's like Rocky is up against his greatest opponent. There is a big guy who has killed his best friend in one round, and he goes to Russia, closes everything, and he's training in, like, winter, in a hardcore winter training, and, like, completely desert. So I was showing Mr. David, hey, Mr. David, this society problem and this problem, that external problem, that social
Yeah.
stigma, all these are like my Drago. And I am, like, training like Rocky in this cold of Finland, and like, I will defeat this Drago somehow. I will never give up, something like that. And Mr. David, like, he tried to counsel me. I was like, at that time, I was like, not I was like having a total identity crisis. And so he told me something very profound. Akshendra, probably Rocky's greatest opponent was not Drago from that movie, but it was maybe Rocky himself, and that hit home. Many times we think that, it's the external problem, but looking back, it was Rocky who was the greatest opponent. So these, I would say, probably have been like my greatest lessons from sports, and some of, as I told you, my mentors and heroes that have taught me. Thank you
Yes.
for the
Yes.
question.
Okay. Okay. So my next question will again be related to masters. So how do
Yeah.
you feel that masters can be a life-changing experience? I mean, first of all, do you feel that? And
It
if
is
yes, how do you feel that?
masters is a masters on paper, but it is actually having a PhD in life skills. Because it might sound that, okay, when I get a degree, it my name might be there, only my name might be there on my degree. But when I have to write an acknowledgement section in my thesis, and like, if I have to write, like, I can actually write a thesis on the acknowledgement section itself. Like, there have been so many people who have been involved in getting me that degree. Like, it's something like, the friends, those who have supported me, the professors, the teachers, their mentors. There were times when I was down, and I'd given up my masters at one time. I'd quit. I, in fact, even had my deportation notice in my hand as well. But then I came, and when I was cleaning my home, I actually came across an old recommendation from my professor. And I was like, from a German professor, he had written a very good recommendation from one of my top jobs in Ernst and Young. And I was like, dude, that is crap. I don't even deserve any of this. No, no, no. But then something caught me. Okay, outstanding perseverance. Maybe he is correct here. Like, there was one word here in his recommendation. Maybe using that, I can, you know, develop other characteristics. So there were so many people who, in so many ways, like, as I told you, my own friend, only best friend, is like, sometimes financially supporting, mentally supporting. So there are so many people, those who have been a part of this master's journey. So thing is, it's not you, it's also about how many people, the people whom you know, the people whom you work with, the people whom, even like our group, like, there are so many great people like Atif, and those people, Sayan, Shambhu, and you, Vetrival. There are so many people, Manpreet. So many people whom we learn from. And so the thing is that doing a master's is almost like having a PhD in life skills. It's like very life transforming. You are in a new country. You are completely out of your comfort zone. You have to go and network, talk to people, talk to total strangers whose culture is totally different from yours, who have lived, and you have to adapt very quickly. You have to change yourself. It's you have to change, otherwise you're not surviving there. Okay, you have to, like, go and acclimatize yourself. and it develops so many of your skills. It develops your everything, from your versatility, from your adaptability, from your being able to talk to people, connect socially. Like, in fact, today morning, this is today morning, Rahul Mathur, if you're watching this, thank you so much for coming, and your posts and your startup is really great. I really enjoyed Bimape. Thank you so much. And so basically, he had written about a post about how doing his masters also changed him, how it made him a great decision. You have to decide your whole course. There's no one. You have to take responsibility for your life. No one pressurizes you for missing classes, anything. So, like, that is what he had also mentioned, and that is like we can all correlate. So it is like, I would say, before stepping on Finland, I was just a boy. And somehow I hated these cold streets. I was very afraid of them. But as the song goes in the movie Creed, those cold streets made a man out of me. So, Masters is a life transforming journey where from boy you become a man, you become your own independent man. And I feel that yes, if you can, if your circumstances allow it, and if you're interested, definitely you should go for this life transforming journey.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
believe me, never, there are people who always come to me, they always like counting some salaries and some superficial calculations. I am like, dude, don't base your decisions on these superficial figures. It's a life transforming journey. There is a lot of other value that you have to add, the skills that you add. Come on, even before coming for masters, I could not even like cook like a tea, proper tea. I could not even make anything. I was the total dumb guy in the kitchen. And now I'm like, making some food and sending it to my Indian like female friends. They are like, we can't cook as well as that. Oh
You
my
just
god, is
have
that
Indian female
something?
friends, no male
Sorry.
friends.
Yeah, I still have some friends, and they are like, like in they are like really good in kitchen, and they are like, I send it
No,
to them. Hey,
no.
I
What
send
I
it to.
said is, do you just have Indian female friends, no male friends?
Sorry, do I
You
still
just
have?
have. Do you just have Indian female friends, no Indian male friends?
No, no, I have both. I have both. So I was
Okay.
just like sending them because in our country it's more like, the women are better in cooking and all. I send them, and they are like, oh, I can't cook as well. And Shreya, thank you so much if you have been a great support as well. So yeah, so basically, so they are like, I'm like, wow. I'm like, and now so it makes you like develop so many skills, and you have to do it, else you are not going to survive.
Okay. Nice. There's a question by Atif. Atif is asking, what do you feel is in India but absent in Finland?
Atif, I was afraid of your question, and now you can see why. Okay, this is a very, very nice question. What I would say, probably the community feeling. Finland, by its culture, it's a very like very very independent society, a very where people are expected to be independent and keep things separate, and they are very professional in their relationships as well. So they have this appointment system where you have to like book an appointment to meet your dad for lunch, something like that. This, and the family feeling, the feeling of community, the feeling of like like and no offense to Finland, it's just a cultural thing. It's just because in fact like it is somehow connected to the weather as well. No offense to any Finnish people who are like, I'm not criticizing, I'm just reporting, no judgment, just reporting. So with all due respect, so in India, somehow that feeling of being, community, being very together, being very, very, that sometimes I kind of miss back home. It's like, like, oh, okay, this is a common problem. Hey, come over. A lot of spontaneity, lot of like, that feeling of brotherhood, the feeling of
Yeah.
community. So that I feel is, yeah, but it's a really good question, Atif.
Okay. And my next question would be, you must have a lot of mentors in your journey. So, who are your best mentors, and what was the greatest lesson which you learned from them, or
There
which
are a
they taught
number
you?
of them. There are a number of them, and I'm actually here. We are having this conversation solely because of my mentors. Like I can write a book on that, but okay, in summary, my first greatest mentor would be a friend called Nitesh. He was like my only friend, and like in college, and like so I probably like learned more from him than from my all the teachers combined in my bachelor's life or something. And so
Yes.
probably he taught me like education taught me how to make a living, and he taught me how to live. So probably all the like life values and everything. So he was like my family, and even now he is. So yeah, probably he was a great mentor, and he taught me the value of sports, the value of teamwork, the value of having great people in your life, and the value of cleanliness, and everything, like very basic things as well. So hats off to you, brother, if you're watching this. And then probably the greatest mentor or hero I would probably look up is that German professor, as I mentioned, Ertus Kron Grimberg. So I probably like, I still remember like that life-changing interview. And so yeah, he kind of like I learned a lot of things like value of being, how to be more efficient, how to be productive, value of decision making, yes or no. And like he was a great guy, he's still a great guy, very charismatic leadership. And the like how, and like all the leadership values and like a lot of skills which I just like learned by observing him, they are still very much a part of my life. A little bit of that, sorry for that, a playboy thingy I caught from you, Urtus, if you're watching this. That stays, so sorry. But still it helped you to develop like good social skills at least. So yeah, so probably he would probably be my greatest, one of my greatest mentor and hero. And yeah, then the third person who had a great influence in my life would be Mayank Khandelwal. He's just a senior, 1 year senior to me in Alto University. Probably the greatest mentor any guy can find, and I still like thank God, like oh yeah, he's like my Jesus Christ. I actually have his photo on my mobile. I'm like, when I have a problem in my life, I'm like, hi, how would Mayank solve this problem? And I know the solution. Like, he was like my only family, only point of contact in those first year, completely depressed. I actually ran to him in my first year. I was like, dude, I don't have the money. I But I still want to do this startup. I don't know how I want to do it, but I want to do this, and you need to help me out. And he was like, okay, I'm going to help you. You can see this, he can see this, he could see it in my eyes. Like I told him, like as I did not give up in that run, while running in the snowstorm like 12 kilometers across, I would not give up in the startup as well. And he got in and he helped me out for all the jobs that I've got in Finland. And I actually had 10 euros when I was giving my Ernst and Young interview. And he was the one who, like who, with because of whom I'm having this interview, anything good in my life. So thanks a lot to him. But he taught me a lot of like value of organizing things, value of leadership values, how to keep the team forward, how to like summarize things, and how to like he's like a university for me. He's like Alto University,
Yes.
Mayank Khandelwal University, probably this university, Mayank Khandelwal University, taught me many more things. Then probably in my relationships, in my social skills, probably I would like to thank like Liz Degwa. Oh yeah, Liz, if you're watching this, I love you so very much. But sorry, you're still mommy's old. So yeah, so she has been like my relationship mentor, always teaching me how to socialize better, how to talk to people better, how to manage your when your relationships are not working out. So probably like she is one of the most social persons. She's a fashion designer who lives in Helsinki, and I'm so lucky to have her in my life. So yeah, these are probably like really great mentors. And Gurvinder, if you're watching this, thank you so much. He was like my mentor when I was in Ernst and Young, and he was a great social guy. Would get everyone to work together, and the greatest lesson I learned from him was the value of teamwork, making people all work together. And so this is, and I would like, I have been blessed with great mentors in my life. I have had such great people who are have advised me. Even Gargi, thanks so much. You have been a great mentor as well. You're only in your bachelor's, but your wisdom, exceeds far beyond your ears. So yeah, so there have been great mentors. There have been great people who have advised me over like specific areas, and I owe it all to them. And if anyone here is, watching this, please try to get yourself good mentors. And yeah, of course, the greatest mentor is our imaginary friend Rocky. Yeah, so that is like, who can forget Rocky? Yeah, sorry. So yeah, so that I would probably say, get mentors, okay? And if you're not able to get someone, on on like a daily basis or something, get heroes. Get heroes. Your greatest mentors are people whom you have never met. Get people who, you have your photo, who you have, whom you really really idolize, who you really think that this guy can never go wrong, this guy is the what I want to become. Keep their photo maybe on a desktop, on a place, and when you're having this problem, like, you look up to that photo and say, how will he do it, how will he solve this? And that's how you will get your answer, and you will reach your, but have mentors, have heroes. That's one of the most important things I would
Yeah.
encourage any youngster to go for.
Nice, nice. Any other advice, tips, or something like that to the juniors or people who are starting their journey?
Yes, the greatest tips, sometimes even like the questions, like I saw, like for example, like someone was asking that why should I do this when I am this, when I am a data
It's
scientist,
yeah,
why should I learn about this? Keep, be formless, be shapeless, again, be like the water, take the shape of the container. When you keep limits, okay, I am this, you are
yeah,
never able to think beyond. So keep your mind free from assumptions, keep your mind as much as possible, it's difficult, away from stereotypes. That's why I say travel, that will increase the horizons of your mind. It's very very important at a young stage of your career. Keep exploring, stay
yeah,
hungry, stay foolish, you know like explore as much as possible. It's,
yeah,
you're young, you're energetic, you have nothing to lose, but you have the world to gain.
yeah.
So go all out,
Well
be
said.
curious. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, nice, nice. What you said is correct. Actually, you have to learn and learn and learn. So you have to keep growing. You don't have to stick to one skill or something, right?
Also, along with learning, I also feel we also forget that unlearning is also important. We
Yeah,
have to, with the rapid rise in technology, with the rapid rise in the changing environment, you have to be flexible in order to and unlearn again. It's like, again, that same philosophy of Bruce Lee, empty your mind, be formless, be shapeless, keep going with the tide. So this, I feel, is one of the most fundamental. And also, if someone who is suppose in like the, say, first year, second year, I would, in his bachelor's, if he's watching this, one of the most important thing you would probably learn from, after you go, bet you go more advanced stages in your career, is develop great social skills. First year probably is the best time. Sorry,
yeah,
this is something which was pre-COVID, but somewhere, like, still, just try to make great friends, try to have really good friends in your life. You will learn much, so much from them, and they will be your lifelong advisors, they will be your lifelong teachers. Get yourself into a good group of, you know people whom you bond with. Like, no man is an island, okay? When you have those right people in your life, when you have the right components in your life, then that is where you will succeed.
yeah,
Join good communities, even like a good communities, like for example, data science community that we have, Hack Weekly here. So
yeah,
that also is a great community to learn. Get those people in your life. That, I would say, is very very important. At initial stages, you can get those, you are set.
yeah, yeah. So Vetri, we are mentioning your, not your, it's our group again and again. So I'm expecting 20 likes from your side at least. Anyways,
That's a commission, that's a commission, come on.
now let's say my last question probably, and then we can wind up. We'll probably take some questions from the chat
Yeah,
box if
yeah, yeah,
anybody has any
definitely,
questions.
definitely.
My last question is for this one. I am not asking you on the go. I have written it down, so I'll just read it. So let's say you already 10 years from now you have already settled, and you might be having everything which you wish to. How would you like to be known? How would I frame? Would you like to be called as an Indian who migrated Finland, or as a Finn with Indian roots, or anything else?
I would like to be known as a good human being who was really kind and who was supported and who supported and helped people out in his way, and so I would like to be known as a human being, as I it's like it might sound a bit philosophical, but borrowing this from Confucius, he said that under the heavens and the sky, we are all like one family. So I don't believe in making those labels and prejudices. Being empty is the best. And just being known as a good human being would be a good,
Yeah, yeah,
I
nice.
would say.
I think I'm done from my side. It was a little bit fun, not very technical for the first time, which is good. In case anybody has any questions for Akshendra, or anybody has any questions in general, probably you can ask, and we'll be there for the next 5 more minutes to answer.
Yeah, yeah.
We've,
And
Vivek,
and
yeah,
if
please.
you're not able to take it up here, you can also, I'm very active on LinkedIn, and you can just ping me
Yeah,
there, and maybe you can just attach my LinkedIn URL in
yeah,
the description, and yeah, I would take
yeah,
it
yeah.
from there. I'm very,
Uh,
very
uh,
open to.
yeah, yeah. And I'll also leave the Hack Weekly new Hack Weekly group, which has been
Oh,
recently
cool.
formed in Clubhouse. I think,
Oh, wow.
if I'm not wrong, yeah, Vetri has
Yeah,
created, because WhatsApp has a limitation of 250
yeah,
something members, right? So
yeah,
I think they're very much active on Clubhouse. So I'll leave the community's link in the description below, so that probably if you are interested to join, so it will have a lot of things. It will have a lot of discussions into machine learning, data science, and a lot of fun activities, a lot of tongue kichai. So whatever it is, it's a combination of everything. Just feel free to join.
yeah. It
So
it probably is it's a really like a study group, but it also acts like a support group as well. Especially in these stressful times, people in a very nice way, in a very humorous and in a
yeah,
fun
yeah,
way, we all learn a lot from each other.
yeah. So if you're away from the group, like for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, you probably miss 80 or 100 chats. So it's that active.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a good one, good community. I mean, I have more than 20 plus communities, but I think
Mhm.
Hack Weekly is one of the most active community which is
Yeah.
currently there.
If you see any more questions from the chat, you can feel free to ask
Yeah,
or.
I'm just scanning because a lot of one-liners. Uh, so I'm not pretty sure I'm able to capture any. Anybody has any questions which I'm not able to go through? Probably you can ask again. Okay, somebody
Yeah.
was asking how deep data structure required for getting job in this domain. See, data structures are the foundation, so you have to be good at data structures. Python you can learn, but data structures is something which it's an ongoing process. Don't think it that way. I have to finish it and then go for the next one. It's not that way. In parallel, you can do it, and yeah, data structures help you to write clean codes, right? So it is very much required. And when you
Also,
jump
is it?
into
Sorry, sorry.
please.
Please
No, no,
complete.
you
Please
can.
complete. Sorry, sorry.
No, I was telling when you go for fan companies, data structure and you have to be very good at data analytics, very strong SQL skills are also required, especially in fan. Yeah, yeah, you were telling something actually.
Yeah, sorry. So basically, one thing came to my attention. So there is this guy called Subhash Chandra. He writes in the chat, I wanted to do MS. I left my job and made plan for September 2020 intake, and COVID came, shattered my dream. Now I'm learning data science. So I would like to take this up because it kind of like resonates to many of our dreams shattered in COVID. See, first of all, I would like to say this: when one door of happiness closes, there are two doors which open. This was a quite a famous quote, and We look so sadly at that closed door that we forget to see those two open doors that have opened before us. So remember, my friend, it might be delay, but remember, in this crisis, there is also an opportunity if you look deeply. Maybe, you use this time in order to lay the great groundwork that you require to do a rigorous course. And where there is a will, you know, there is a way. You will find out the way. You should not keep that, this emotional shattered and this thing. So we all have gone through that. Everybody of us has faced some kind of loss. So remember, you're not alone. And yeah, we can probably, if you want, you can connect and I can talk to you more and yeah, help you out more if you want. Yeah, over, yeah. But remember, there are doors which have opened when one door
Yeah,
closed.
yeah, great. Yeah, everybody is going through this phase, so it's everyone. Like it's not like one guy is facing issues,
Yes,
right? So I
yes,
understand you must be having more difficulties as compared to others, but don't feel bad. Yeah,
yes,
probably you can
exactly.
get in touch with Akshendra. He'll try to boost you up.
Yes, there
Uh,
is always an opportunity in that snowstorm, an opportunity to develop character, an opportunity to rise above. Every difficulty, every
yeah, yeah.
adversity has a seed of greater or an equivalent benefit.
Shashidhara is asking how to write a new ML Python library. There are multiple blogs. You can just simply follow that. It's very. I just searched on Google. I got the first blog. Everything is crystal clear. You just follow that. Very easy.
Mhm, mhm.
Anybody has any other questions? It was a great session. Thank you. Nitin Vivek is asking something. No. Okay. I joined in the end, but quality conversation till the end. Okay. Yeah,
Okay,
Vivek.
thank you.
Thank you. Uh, I think he's being sarcastic, but his question is any tips for people from non-technical background trying to get into analytics using academic path in abroad, maybe the Netherlands if possible.
Yeah, can you just repeat it? Sorry.
Any tips for people from non-technical background trying to get into analytics using academic path in abroad, maybe the Netherlands.
Yes, so basically, see, as I said, never classify yourself that I am a non-technical person, I am a technical person. Maybe you are greatly talented in technical field and you never know. So I would suggest like do projects, okay? Do projects yourself. Start with some easy ones, something like, you look at some blogs and then you try to just understand it. Don't copy the code, but then try to understand and write it down yourself and try to take some references. Start with some easy projects, then slowly raise your difficulty. And as I said, try to get yourself into some community, some kind of study groups. Hack Weekly is a good example, and some other groups where you have people who are like your level or just some levels above you, so that if they are too much like above or something, then you will feel discouraged and it would not be of help. A little above you, and then try to coordinate with them and try to, and so something like that. And I would say then you can probably in your SOP, in fact this will, in fact you can even make it your plus point, because professors here really love to hear the story of the underdog. Okay, I was this non-technical guy, but and my parents and my society always used to prove me that I could never succeed.
Yeah,
But in a technical field, in a very strong, in a tough technical field, but I still worked really hard, did these projects on my own, and I still will keep the same fighting spirit when I am doing my masters.
yeah,
And believe me, they will really love this story more than the one who has had all the path nicely given to him. So
yes,
you can even take and turn this into your advantage. Like for example, like they really value this personality skill very much. For example, when I was giving my Nokia interview, so Nokia interview, she reads my resume and she says, "Snowstorm running with weights. What's this?" She was like this, "What's this? What the heck?" I was like, "I run under any circumstance. I get the job done under any circumstance." And the way she looked at me, I knew I had the job. I got the job. And she asked me, there are only 3 credits where there should be 40 credits in your first year of your masters. Why is that? I was like, remember snowstorm running with weights? She was like, you're hired. And so the thing is, so it doesn't matter your technical skills. If you really want something, and if you really work hard
yeah,
in important fields, and you have that, story building capacity, and the other, your non-technical aspects, your communication skills will be very useful
yeah,
in your
yeah,
data science field. Data science is all about communication, is all about being able to explain your results. You might even do better than a technical guy who cannot communicate. So please, please go for it. Get into a learning group, like for example Hack Weekly or some other group, and you know
yeah,
and keep
yeah, yeah.
learning. Never give up.
Yeah, I think possibly the last question from Neil
Yeah.
Money coming in. Is it possible to get a job directly in foreign country for freshers? So
For pressure.
yeah, yeah, probably you can answer.
Yes, yes, definitely. I have known people, those who have uh, directly applied. It's actually, as I told you, it's about how you can, as a person, communicate. Here in Western countries, in India, it's all about clearing a coding test. They don't care about your personal skills. They don't care about too much about that much. Okay, they do care, but here a lot depends on how, in
Yeah,
Western countries, how you can convince, how you can form a relationship with a person whom you have
yeah,
not
yeah,
met. So, you can easily apply through mails. You can even write to CEOs of the company here, or CTOs, and this is a very equal culture where, the CEO is a person. He is
yeah,
not a king. The janitor also is a person doing a job. He is also a person. And you can just write to the CEO that, hey, I actually have a friend whom I mentored who got a job in this way. He just wrote to the CEO where I was working that, hey, I am a graduate in this field. While looking across the job descriptions, job positions, I came across this position. I believe that my skill sets developed during doing this projects and during this kind of graduation will be a great asset in supporting you in the projects listed here in your website, and this
yeah,
project. And he got the interview call, and I also mentored him a bit. And if you want, you can also, whoever asks the question, you can connect to me on LinkedIn, and I can go into more details. It's more about writing, being able to write a good cover letter, having
yeah,
a good
yeah,
story, and you should be able to get a job directly. In fact, personally, I find it more easier to hunt for a job in Western country, because it's all about networking. Put LinkedIn to very good use. LinkedIn is a great platform. Just use it very well. Write some good content, connect with some good people, talk to people, ask relevant questions, break the ice and everything. And believe me, it's very much possible to get a job after
yeah,
freshers, and you can connect to me for
yeah,
more. Yeah.
yeah. I also know many people. In fact, I'll not name him, but yeah, I know many people who have also got jobs being a fresher. They have got
Yeah.
jobs abroad, and that was through hackathons. Hackathons are
Yes.
very important because you
Hmm.
meet different nationality people. You try to connect with them, and if you are I mean, it all depends. If your team is even not good, that's fine. If you're performing well, you could be noticed by somebody, right? And it happens. You start growing connections and you land
Yes.
up a job. And I know people, like 3 or 4 people I know who have
Hmm.
landed. Yeah, the
In,
chances are a little
in
bit
fact,
less.
in
Yeah,
fact, I am also one of them. Like, I got an internship. I didn't get a permanent job offer, but I met the professor when he came from Germany to visit my Indian college. I met him. I talked to him in person. I left a good impression, and I was able to do some of his tasks, which he like provided me remotely,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
was able to go for a job directly after, like an internship directly after my bachelor's, or at the end of my
yeah,
bachelor's. So you can
yeah,
also keep networking. Networking is the key in, like, Western countries. Like, as it's like success now distills to who you know, not what you know, but success also now is very much measured, and it's very important who you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, even I myself have hired one Indian
Yep.
in my one of my previous companies. He started
Yep.
working with us. We didn't had when I landed up in Hong Kong. We didn't had an Indian office, so we hired one intern, and then he was moved to Hong Kong like in 3 months. So it happens.
Yeah.
The chances will be less, but it's worth taking it. Like there is no
Yes.
harm in taking chances, right?
And
So
probably you knew him, like before hiring, you probably knew him through some medium, right? Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, that's how.
So I am working as a data scientist 6 months only in a company in India. How can I build my career in it? Rocky Dawn. Okay. Uh,
He created a, oh, he created a profile right now, I think.
okay. I think okay. You already have a career, so you have already 6 months experience, right? So I think you
I
are on the
think,
right
yeah.
track.
Yeah, I think he's on the right track.
uh, what else? Rishikesh Nikam is asking one question. If we are studying at Germany, can we apply for internships if we get ourselves prepared before we start our semesters? Yeah, it's possible. Possible.
Sorry, sorry. Sorry, can
He's
you please?
asking if we are studying at Germany, can we apply for internships if we get ourselves prepared before we start our semesters?
Yeah, yeah, it is very much possible. Actually, I also had applied. I told my professor, like, hey, I am applying for masters in TU Munich. I'm interested, and I really like your work. So it's basically done through emailing. So basically, you look at the professor's website, and internships in Germany are relatively easy to find in a lab. It's like a student hi-fi, student work, a student assistant. So basically, apply to a professor. Hey, I liked your this work and this project, and I have done some similar work in the past, and I think I can contribute. Is there a position in your lab? And it's quite easy to get it. Not that difficult. You have to search, be a bit patient, and apply in the right and talk to a professor. Again, the communication skills matter a lot, and yeah, you can get it. Even before your course starts, you are at least the professor would be like, okay, I would make the final confirmation after you start your master's here, come to meet me in the office. And then, but if he has invited you for like an interview kind of, it's almost sure that you're going to get the job.
Okay, nice. Uh, Shashidhara is asking, Finland is rated as happiest country. Any comments on this? I mean,
Oh yes, yes, of course. It is okay. The best example is one of my pastor friends. He calls me and he tells me every Sunday, Akshendra, let's go to church. I'm like, why? I will show you how to go to heaven. I'm like, I'm already in heaven. Finland is heaven. It is, yes, it is one of the world's most happiest countries, and the things that we can learn from Finland, and it has a very collaborative atmosphere. It's like collaboration, not competition. That's the same philosophy of my startup as well. So the rich, they basically give even 60% taxes, and this is a completely a welfare state. And suppose you have lost your job, they will put a roof over your head. At least they will guarantee that, and that at least you have some money for your basic expenses. And so you don't have a reason for crime, so it's almost like very, very crime free. People here are like what we can learn from Finnish people, like as I told you about my Finnish friends, like only Oni, and there are some others might be also watching. So they're like very, very honest people, very, very humble, very grounded, the most courteous people you can find on earth. They are also quite helpful, a little shy. They are known to be a bit shy and reserved, but they are the most like humble and down to earth people. And happiness comes from their, the collaborative welfare society that they have created. And like, so yeah, it is very nice. And also children here are treated like gods. Like, they are like, they are like till 6 years, no work, just enjoy your life, play as much as possible. And the education system also plays a big role in the it's like more like a practical oriented, very free stress free. Like, your professors will not put any pressure on you. You have a lot of independence. And yes, that's why they're like very, very like cultural and economical and social reasons why it is rated as the most happiest country. And I can verify it from experience that people are here happy because of the good decent, at least a minimum. And it's also a culture where it is very, very equality. So I'm traveling in a train. On my right might be the janitor, person on the left might be a construction worker. I in fact even met a Finnish TV actress, and in fact she was so humble she didn't even mention that she was a TV actress. I actually later I googled her, and oh my god, she was a TV actress. We connected on Facebook or something. But so all these people from different class of society are traveling in the same local transport, and everybody is treated and they all treat each other very equally. So this is
Yes.
why I would say Finland is like we are trying to be more like happier and satisfied rather than chasing money and competition and some titles for ego gratification. So yes,
Yeah.
there's a lot to learn from Finland and why it is the most happiest country. Yeah. Mhm.
Nice. Anybody has any other questions, or it will wind up because already we have
Yeah.
gone over
Yeah,
past
a
60
little
minutes.
overtime.
And yeah, unfortunately, it's almost 11 here, so I have to take dinner as well. Anybody
Yeah,
has
yeah.
any questions? Quick questions, 2 more minutes. I think they are gender neutral nation. Vivek is
Sorry.
asking this.
Sorry.
Vivek is telling, I think they are gender neutral nation.
They are gender neutral. Yeah, they are also very, very like like man and woman are the same. So it's like they are so much gender equality that I also like thank God to Finland. Like I've also been asked out by women. I was like, okay, it's like in India it would be like okay, only a man can ask a girl out, something like that. But here it's completely acceptable if a girl also asks a guy out, something like that. So it's so gender equality in everything. It's like man and woman are completely the same. So yeah, it's a very, very like there are a lot of good cultural values that we can learn from Finland. Yes.
Okay, nice. Anybody has any questions, just reach out to us on LinkedIn. I have already given Akshendra's profile in the description. I have also given my profile. One thing I haven't given is the Hack Weekly's link, which I will pass on immediately after the video, after the session is done. And that's it. That's it for today's session, guys. Thank you. And next class, I have Shwetank. Shwetank has been part of one of my previous webinars as well, where he was talking about sports analytics. So I have told him that we have to create some Dream 11 kind of setup, something kind of fantasy league prediction. So he's working on it. He's working very hard on it. So this Sunday, next Sunday will be on that. It will be completely on cricket analytics, and we'll talk about that use case. And luckily, I have been forming connections. I have been talking to a lot of people. So luckily, for the next 5 to 6 weekends, I have everybody planned up.
Wow.
I also have a end-to-end Google Analytics lecture, which is which is very good, right? Google Analytics, nobody talks about it. So there is one
Yeah.
expert who will be talking about it. So a lot of things
Whoa.
coming up, guys. Thank you for being connected with me. In case you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified. Like the video, share the video among your friends, and that's it from my side. Thanks a lot, Akshendra, for joining me. It was really nice, and
Thank you
I
so much,
got to know
Satyajit.
about a lot of things.
Thank you
And
so much, Satyajit, for having me on your show and giving me
thank you.
it's really great honor to be here. I was quite flattered to receive an invitation, and I hope my suggestions are helpful. And if there are any other questions or anything that you would like to ask, follow-up questions, please feel to like connect to me on LinkedIn and drop me a message. And in the connection request also, you can just straight away shoot your questions. I would be most great helpful and like most I will try my best to answer,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
even if there are some serious questions I can even take it up on a personal call as well, so it's
yeah,
no
yeah.
worries, please feel free.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, thank you guys. Good night. Have a good day. Tomorrow is Monday, so enjoy your last few hours. Okay, thank you. By signing off. Thank you,
Okay,
Akshandra.
thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Thank you everyone, see you, bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye bye.
See you, bye.